name's Nikki Moore. I'm an author from stunning Dorset. I have a day job in human resources, and I've been writing for about 10 years, and I've been published for 5 of those. I'm mostly published with HarperCollins for one more chapter, the digital first imprint, the Love London series. Those came out, it was 5 novellas and 1 novel over 15-16. Also some Italian editions have been published last year, 2018. I've also had some short stories out. One of my short stories, in fact the first story that I ever had published, was in an anthology, Truly Madly Deeply, which had best-selling authors like Carol Matthews and Adele Parkson, who really big writing heroines of mine. So that was an absolute honour. I just wanted to talk to you a bit about my writing journey, really, because when I was an aspiring author, I really loved to hear stories about how other people had kind of made it, or what I thought of as making it at the time. You know, path to publication's never straightforward. It's not the same for everybody, and the reason that this vlog is called No Magic Formula is because I absolutely think that's true, that there isn't a magic formula. There's not some secret behind the curtain that, you know, those who are published kind of get to peer behind that curtain and find out what it is, and then, you know, it's those people that make the big time. There's no magic formula in terms of the different paths that people have to publication are so many and so varied. I'm really lucky. I'm part of an amazing writing community, mostly on Twitter and Facebook. But, you know, I'm kind of friends with a lot of authors. I've met a lot of authors at the Romantic Novelists Association, which I'm a member of. I mean, I go to their annual conferences sometimes. They have a summer and a winter party, so I get to chat to other authors and meet, you know, agents, publishers, people in the publishing industry. And one thing I've really learned over the years is that, yeah, there is no one size fits all. I know people who have, you know, had an agent take them on with a first book. That book's been sold successfully to publisher, has done really well. They've quit the day job, you know, they've been writing full time ever since, then never looked back. That's the exception, I would say, and not the norm. Lots of writers that I know still have day jobs, you know, whether it's full-time or part-time, or they run their own companies alongside writing. You know, really they need that kind of main income, because writing is not, you know, not what pays the rent or the mortgage. I also know authors who have only ever self-published and they're very happy that way, and they're actually doing quite well off that. I know people who are hybrid authors, so, you know, they're published both by traditional publishing houses and also they self-publish themselves, potentially through, you know, Kindle Direct Publishing program, things, you know, things like that. And so, you know, I was thinking recently, I've just been taken on by Hattie at the Blair Partnership, who are the agency that look after J.K. Rowling. So I can absolutely tell you, I had a massive fangirl moment where I went to their offices in London and was surrounded by Harry Potter memorabilia. So, you know, but that's me getting an agent after 5 years, really, after being published. And that's not the way that I thought it would happen for me. When I first started writing, I thought that, you know, I would write this incredible book, I'd get the first agent that I approached, they would sell my book into this massive publisher that would, you know, would give me tens of thousands of pounds as an advance. I would quit the day job and I would write and write and write and, you know, bring out a book a year or 2 books a year. But yeah, that's not what happened to me. I found my publisher myself. I met my lovely editor Charlotte from HarperCollins at an R&A conference. We had a one-to-one. She'd read the first chapter of what later became my debut novel. And I remember her saying the words to me, "I will read anything that you write," which I think is probably the highlights of my entire writing career, kind of looking back on it. I did submit some other things to her, some short stories, and I kind of finished polishing that manuscript, and she later offered me a 4-work deal. And I've been published with HarperCollins ever since. So yeah, getting an agent after 5 years is not what I thought I would do, but I have definitely learned during the last 10 years that I've been writing that there is no magic formula. You know, there isn't one way that people are published and stay published. It's really important to understand, if you're an aspiring author, that your path may be completely different to someone else's. So you know, if you go on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and you're disheartened by hearing all these big success stories where people have had, you know, 6-figure sums, you know, in advance against their first book, their debut, don't be disheartened if that hasn't happened to you, because it might just be that it's not happened to you yet, or it might be that that never happens to you and that you are going to do things in a different way. So you are going to, you know, submit to a publisher directly and get published by a publisher in that way. Or maybe you are going to self-publish and do it yourself, and you're going to learn about things like, you know, creating great covers or having someone design them for you, and you're going to learn about editing and marketing and you know, publishing for yourself. There is no right way of doing things. So, you know, the reason this vlog is called, you know, Being Published, No Magic Formula, is because there really isn't. Everyone's story, everyone's path is unique. Saying that, there are a few things that I definitely think make a difference in terms of being published versus not being published. You know, I'm not going to go into the craft of writing in this vlog because we could be here for hours. So I think 3 main things. The first thing is, write the damn book. So, you know, learn your craft, learn to write well. Part of that is reading a lot. So reading lots of genres, you know, read technical books about grammar, but also read books about, you know, how to write romance or the genre that you're in. So, you know, learn the craft, but write the damn book. Get the words down on the paper. I used to be a complete butterfly writer, and by that I mean that, you know, it took me years to actually finish one book, because I would start a book, I'd get about 40,000 words in, I'd start to run out of steam, I'd start thinking it was a pile of rubbish, another story would come along, you know, I'd get an idea for the next book and I'd get really excited about it and really passionate, and so I would stop writing that first book and I would start the second book, and I basically ended up with 3 or 4 different books that were all kind of 40,000 words in. So, you know, it took me years to write one book. And I also used to, rather than writing one draft all the way through, I used to go back and keep polishing all the time. So, you know, I'd sit down to write and I'd polish what I'd done the day before. Well, by the time that time had elapsed, I'd only maybe write another 500 words before it was time to stop writing again, because, you know, I had the kids, the career, all the rest of it. You know, normal housework as everyone else does, you know, wanting to see friends and family. So write the damn book. I'm not going to go into, you know, how to query agents and publishers and be fabulous, because that is a topic for another vlog as well. But kind of that second thing that I was talking about, you know, 1 is write the book, 2 is persistence. So you have to keep going. It is really, really, really difficult sometimes, and you'll be devastated by rejection. I definitely had times when, you know, I had knockbacks and setbacks on my path. And sometimes, you know, after a couple of days I could be like, okay, I'm going in again. And other times it would take me maybe a couple of weeks to kind of get back to things. And, you know, sort of submit again or approach someone else. But you have to keep going. You know, part of an author's life is dealing with rejection. And the way that you have to look at it is, you know, that it's positive. Because actually, if you've been rejected, it's because you've tried in the first place. I'm very, very lucky that my aunt is best-selling author Sue Moorcroft. She is published by Avon, which is part of HarperCollins, so actually we share the same publisher but different arms of it. She has a Christmas and a summer book out every year, and she is doing really, really well. She's selling many, many books. And you know, I and the rest of the family are delighted for her. And it's been great for me because over the years she's mentored me and she's given me advice. And quite early on in my writing career, she said to me, it's all about persistence. And the only difference between a published and an unpublished author is that the published author kept going. So, you know, you've got to keep trying, and it's a numbers game, and at some point you will make it. If you've got a good quality book and a great concept, and, you know, you're in it for the long haul, and you keep knocking on those doors, then sooner or later one of them will open. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is just, there's a little bit of luck involved as well. You know, I'm not saying it's all just luck. I'm not saying that those multi-million copy, you know, bestsellers is because it's just down to luck. You know, writing a damn book and the persistence is really important, but there's just a little bit of luck in there. In terms of timing sometimes, you know, maybe you get knocked back by a publisher or agent because you've just written something really similar to something that they've either just taken on or published, and so it's not the right thing for them. You know, or maybe what you've written just isn't quite right for the market at that point, but you know, in a year or two it will be, or in a year or two you might have gone on to write your next book, and that might be the one that, you know, a publisher or an agent takes on. And you know, the books that sell really well and sell tens of thousands or hundred thousands of copies, there's a little bit of luck somewhere, you know, somewhere in that too, in terms of, you know, it's the right cover, the right kind of story at the right time. You know, the public, the, you know, readers out there are looking for something in particular, and you know, that book fires the imagination. So there's something about timing and there's something about luck in there. So those are the three key things I want you to remember. There is no magic formula. Everyone's journey is different, and there's a little bit of luck mixed in there as well. So I'm going to keep going, and I've just delivered one book to HarperCollins, my editor Charlotte, who's absolutely lovely, and I've just started working on another book I'm working on for Hattie. So I've got plenty to keep going alongside the day job. I've got a beagle puppy called Luna. I do put photos of her on Instagram. I have kids, I have a fiance, you know, I have housework like everyone else does, so I have a busy lifestyle. But writing is important, so I make time for it, and I make the discipline, and I follow my advice in terms of, you know, I get that book written. Hope you find that useful. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye. So if you enjoyed this vlog, then please do leave a comment in the box below. Like it, share it, please do subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitter or on my website nikkimooreauthor.wordpress.com. I'm also on Facebook, Nikki Moore Writes, and have an author page as well. But please do get in touch and tune in for the next vlog. Take care.